We have been helping people grow online. It has been absolutely amazing. We have helped many content creators get from zero to monetization in under 30 days. We even have a couple of these superstars who did it in 1 or 2 weeks. If you want to learn how to do YouTube, I don't care your age, I don't care what skills or talents you have. Trust me, I can help you do it effortlessly. Just reach out to me with the word coach and we can get it done. One more thing. We have a YouTube course that I just now created. I'm extremely proud of, and a lot of people are getting so much from. Purchase that course and work with us. You can join our private Facebook group and our daily group calls, which is 3 to 5 days per week, and you can learn so much more than you've ever learned before. I can't wait to hear from you. Love you. Peace.
Fox News Alert, we just got a peek inside Obama's black book, and it turns out Barack knew the Russia hoax was a hoax all along, but pushed it anyway to sabotage the Trump presidency. DNI Tulsi Gabbard declassifying pages and pages of documents, showing Obama's intel guys briefed him just weeks after the 2016 election that the Russians didn't actually sway the election. Quote, we assessed that Russian and criminal actors did not impact the recent U.S. election results. Criminal activity also failed to reach the scale and sophistication necessary to change election outcomes. But Obama just couldn't accept that. So he and his staff instructed intel agencies to cook up new reports to support Russia collusion. Quote, after the meetings, Clapper's executive assistant emailed intelligence community leaders, tasking them to create a new intelligence community assessment per the president's request that detailed the tools Moscow used and actions it took to influence the 2016 election. Tulsi Gabbard described what she found as a conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people. And she says the people involved should be prosecuted and has made a criminal referral to the Department of Justice. We knew Hillary created the dossier, and now we have proof that Barack was calling the shots and the documents to prove it.
But what will happen from this? What's going on, guys? Welcome back. I'm Van, and we are all the LFR family. We are cooking this morning.
Fox News Alert, we just got a peek inside Obama's black book, and it turns out...
keep on starting. All right? But we cooking this morning. Hit the like button, guys. Share this bad boy.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sean. This is such an important issue, and I just want to start by saying that this is an issue that is important to every single one of us as Americans. This is not a partisan issue. It has to do with the integrity and the strength of our democratic republic. And it lays out this over 100 documents that you're referencing that I released, declassified and released, spells out in great detail exactly what happens when you have some of the most powerful people in our country directly leading at the helm, President Obama and his senior-most national security cabinet, James Comey, John Brennan, James Clapper, and Susan Rice and others, essentially making a very intentional decision to create this manufactured, politicized piece of intelligence with the objective of subverting the will of the American people who in November of 2016 delivered a historic victory to President Trump, defeating Hillary Clinton. And President Obama and his team, their goal was to essentially not accept the decision of the American people and to use this manufactured, politicized intelligence as a means to enact what would become essentially a years-long coup against President Trump. You have gone into great detail over these years of what the effects of this document and this decision have resulted in. Obviously, a years-long Mueller investigation that cost taxpayers almost $40 million, 2 congressional impeachments, endless smears and attacks against not only President Trump, but his family. He had senior members of his team who were investigated, some arrested and jailed. We had heightened and increased tensions between the United States and Russia. The list goes on and on about the consequences of President Obama and his senior cabinet members politicizing intelligence once again, and I say these words very clearly, to enact what was essentially a years-long coup, subverting the will of the American people in that election in November. Now, you referenced this president's daily brief document.
All right, guys, what's going on, man? This just now came across my timeline when I was going across X. Obviously, I'm always one of the late ones to check out the new hot news on in politics. Now, what's going to come from this? Are any arrests coming from this? Well, it damn sure ain't going to be Barack Obama that's going to be arrested. So we know that's not going to happen. So who's going to be arrested? Who's going to be held accountable for this? That's all I want to know. We got a couple of documents that we're going to read over that was put out here because we're trying to get to the bottom of it, just like everybody else. But I'm not getting too excited. That's just not my cup of tea. I want to be excited. I'm sure y'all understand that. I want to be excited. I want to believe that something's going to come from this, but I'm just going to keep it a buck. I don't necessarily believe that anything will. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer or Danny Downer, whatever you want to call it. But I'm just trying to be as honest as possible. I don't see too much coming from this. Although I would love it, don't see it.
This is another instance where you see the Democrats having projected what they were doing onto Donald Trump. The Obama administration was undermining public confidence in the elections, deliberately undermining confidence in the elections, and then accusing the Trump campaign of doing the very same thing. They knew that they didn't have the actual intel or any evidence to actually bring any charges against Trump because, of course, he didn't do any of the things they were accusing him of, but they were constantly leaking to the news media. And that was one of the things that we saw revealed today in these new documents, is that they were using the intelligence community essentially as a public relations arm. This is another instance.
No, they've been doing this for a minute. So let's talk about how hypocritical the left has been for the longest time. They try to accuse the right of being the ones that are racist towards blacks. They try to accuse Trump of being deporter in chief when we already know that compared to Obama, Obama was deporter in chief, but he kept the borders open. So although he was getting a whole bunch of people up out of here, although he created cages to hold them in until they was transferred back to their countries and whatnot, he kept the border open. It was not secure. Now, the difference is now the border is secure. Now there's not an onslaught of people that's coming into the country the way it was before. So we're in a net positive when it comes to that. So that's what we're looking at. We got this document that was posted, and I want to go over it with y'all. This was the piece that grabbed my attention. You know, the top of it looking all dramatic: creation of the Russian hoax, real intel assessment. Russia and criminal actors did not impact recent U.S. election results by conducting cyber attacks on infrastructure. Donald Trump wins 2016. Wish they never wanted to happen. December 8th, President of the United States at that point, briefing was pulled. IC pulls product that contradicts Russia hoax narrative. In December 9th, secret Russia meeting. Obama officials meet to plan Russia hoax. On December 9th, Obama orders. IC begins outlining new assessment to claim election was hacked. The Washington Post posted secret CIA assessment says Russia was trying to help Trump win White House. All right, so everybody was in cahoots here. The deep state leaks. Obama officials used their media propaganda arm to spread fake news. So that's why you got the Washington Post, you got the New York Times, and you got NBC News. New York Times posted Russia hackers acted to aid Trump in election, U.S. says. NBC News posted U.S. officials, Putin personally involved in U.S. election hack. Then fake weaponized assessment. So suppressed prior intelligence showing Russia lacked intent and capability to hack the 2016 elections. So this all transpired. So you got August 31st, right? Intel community consensus. And overall, let me see, DHS official to DNI Clapper. And overall risk due to cyber incident. And this is highlighted. We are working with CIA on a PDB submission on the threat. The thrust of the analysis is that there is no indication of a Russian threat to directly manipulate. There is no indication of a Russian threat to directly manipulate the actual vote count through cyber means. I want y'all to make sure y'all pay attention to that. To directly manipulate. They admitted to it, and now they move forward. However, as seen in recent media reporting, any cyber activity directed against the election infrastructure is likely to have an effect on public confidence, even if the cyber operation is unsuccessful or not intended to impact the election, e.g., theft or P2 from a voter. September 9th, lead author of the PDB. I took the intent of this email to get the basic starting point regarding Russia. We agree with Russia probably is not and will not is not trying to influence the election by using cyber means to manipulate computer-enabled election infrastructure. So they actually admitted to it on September 9th. Then we go down to December 7th, DNI Clapper talking points, activity on and since election day. All right. Something is didactic right there. So we're going to just read the rest. We assess that foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks on election infrastructure to alter U.S. presidential election outcome this year. We have no evidence of cyber manipulation of election infrastructure intended to alter results. There was, however, minimal targeting of election infrastructure, probably by cyber criminals to steal data, although these efforts did not disrupt the election. All right, let's go. So we're bringing it on. So we got pulled president's daily brief. December 8th, IC officials discuss draft PDB. Cyber manipulation of U.S. election infrastructure to remain a challenge. All right. Now, pay attention to these outline portions. All right. We assess that Russian and criminal actors did not impact recent U.S. election results by conducting malicious cyber activities against election infrastructure. They are admitting all of this, but they didn't let the public know this. This is the manipulation part. The public was still being fed propaganda that was they were in cahoots with their machine, their media platforms that will put out the lies for them. So on December 8th, senior PDB official pulls the PDB based on some new guidance. Based on some new guidance, we are going to push back publication of the PDB. It will not run tomorrow and is not likely to run until next week. We're trying to find some new stuff to hold on Trump, but we can't because we constantly got to go back and say that what we posted before is not true. Thank you so much for the super chat, Wheezy. I appreciate you. I'm going to read that bad boy in a minute. All right. So then we got Obama's secret White House meeting on Russian election meddling. Nobody will ever admit to that to this day that this happened, but these receipts are critical. They are crucial. This is what I really enjoy, right? So, and make sure y'all run them likes up, guys. Hit the like button. Thank you so much, Shoemaker, for putting that out there. All right. So, a summary of conclusion for meeting of the Principals Committee. On this date, December 9th, 2016, location, White House Situation Room. You know they only go to the Situation Room when there's a real situation. In this case, their situation was trying to shut down Donald J. Trump, right? This is nuts. They wanted Hillary to win so daggone bad that they were willing to do any and everything. Y'all remember, right? If you can let me know in the comments, who was they saying was cheating the entire time? They were saying that Trump was the one that was cheating. This is because they was trying to create this narrative in the minds of the American voter. And then when he lost the election, when they actually cheated and it worked, and Trump tried to point out exactly where the holes were, he tried to point out where they cheated. They called him, they said that he was crying and he was an election denier. So all these things happen. Let's see who was the participants inside of this meeting. And this is summary of conclusions for PC meeting on a sensitive topic. Let's see who was in here. All right. So the chair, Susan Rice, was in there. The White House counsel, Neil Eggleston, was in there. DNI James Clapper was in there. OVP had no representative. FBI Andrew McCabe was in there. State Secretary John Kerry, Victoria Nuland was in there. CIA John Brennan was in there. Treasury Adam Zubin was in there. General Joseph Dunford from JCS was in there. Brian McKeon from DOD, Department of Defense, was in there. NSA Richard Leggett was in there. Justice Loretta Lynch, Mary McCord was in there. The White House Avril Haines, Lisa Monaco, and Ben Rhodes was in there. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Jed Johnson and Rob Silver was in there. Let's talk about the NSC, Chris Fonzone, Caroline Tess, Brett Holmgren, Michael Daniel, Celeste Wallander, Samir Jain, and Jeffrey Edmonds was in there. Chief of Staff Dennis McDonough was in there, and USUN Mayor Bitar was in there. On December 9th, this email reads to ODNI leaders. It says, the IC is prepared to produce an assessment per the president's request that pulls together the information we have on the tools Moscow used and the actions it took to influence the 2016 election, an explanation of why Moscow directed these activities and how Moscow's approach has changed over time, going back to 2008 and 2012 as reference points. ODNI will lead the effort with participation from CIA, FBI, NSA, and DHS. All right. So far, they are doing whatever they possibly can. Whatever they possibly can to tie Russia into Trump's winning. And I'm glad that Tulsi Gabbard provided all this information with everyone who was in the Situation Room meeting about this situation. All right, let's go on. So fake news gets all of the talking points. So obviously when you receive the talking points, you got to release the talking points. December 9th, IC leaks to the Washington Post. All right. Though Russia has long conducted cyber spying on U.S. agencies, companies, and organizations, this presidential campaign marks the first time Russia has attempted through cyber means to interfere in, if not actively influence, the outcome of an election, the officials said. Then we go to the CIA has concluded in a secret assessment that Russia intervened in the 2016 election to help Donald Trump win the presidency, rather than just undermine confidence in the U.S. electoral system, according to officials briefed on the matter. All right, so they are really meeting about this on a daily basis. What happened in November to elect Donald Trump as the president, they were so pissed off, man, and they was trying to figure out how to overturn it and give it to Hillary Clinton, and nothing was working in their favor. So on December 14th, IC leak to NBC News, U.S. intelligence officials now believe with a high level of confidence that the Russian President Vladimir Putin became personally involved in the covert Russian campaign to interfere in the U.S. presidential election, senior U.S. intelligence officials told NBC News. How in the hell did they tell NBC News when we kept seeing them say, we don't have enough information? We don't have enough information. We have to retract what we said before. They are not a part of manipulating the people, manipulating any type of systems so that Trump won this presidency. So, but they kept on feeding the Washington Post and many other news outlets lies. And that's what the Democrat Party are filled with right now, all of these lies. So the disproven still dossier. Let me go on and read this super chat before I move forward. Thank you so much, Wheezy. I appreciate it. Hopefully your health and everything is fine. And thank you so much for pulling up and showing some love. Shout out to Wheezy Unfiltered, man. I got some dope people with me. Also, guys, hit that like button, run it up, please. Bringing the receipts is fire. Yep, that's all we got today is the receipts. That's all we got today is receipts. To God be the glory. Okay, close of business Tuesday, September 24th to NIC Tasker. Shelby believes this should be responded to by the NIC as the dossier was a factor in the 2017 ICA on the election interference in which an assessment of the document was added as an annex. Please review the attached document and conduct a search for the time period May 2016 through February 2017 of all records of communication, including emails on both .gov and non.gov accounts, text messages, and instant chats between the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, including but not limited to former ODNI Director James Clapper, and the Office of the Director of Federal Bureau of Investigations, including but not limited to former FBI Director James Comey, regarding the collection of memos known as the Steele Dossier. I don't know how much information we could put out there without seeing that it's clear as day that it was a setup. It's clear as day that they was trying to get this bad boy to pass through the American people so that they can make their minds up with the lies. And this is the thing that I don't respect about our government and what I don't respect about our media. I believe that they have let me see. They have a responsibility to serve the public correctly. And when they do not, heads should roll, in my opinion. All right. So here's the new evidence of Obama administration conspiracy to subvert President Trump's 2016 victory and presidency. Shout out to Tulsi Gabbard. Holy crap. Washington, D.C. On Friday, Director of National Intelligence, DNI Tulsi Gabbard, revealed overwhelming evidence that demonstrates how, after President Trump won the 2016 election against Hillary Clinton, President Obama and his national security cabinet members manufactured a politicized intelligence to lay the groundwork for what was essentially a years-long coup against President Trump. I agree 1,000%. It was essentially a years-long coup and lies. They were lying to everybody. All right, here we go. In the months leading up to the November 2016 election, the intelligence community consistently assessed that Russia is probably not trying to influence the election by using cyber means. We kept seeing that in the information we just now showed. On December 7th, 2016, after the election, talking points were prepared for DNI James Clapper, stating foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks on election infrastructure to alter the U.S. presidential election outcome. On December 9th, 2016, President Obama's White House gathered top National Security Council principals for a meeting that included James Clapper, John Brennan, Susan Rice, John Kerry, Loretta Lynch, Andrew McCabe, and others to discuss Russia. Now, we just now went over the list of everybody that was inside of the Situation Room discussing the situation. After the meeting, DNI Clapper's executive assistant sent an email to IC leaders tasking them with creating a new IC assessment per the president's request. The first one did not go over well to him because it didn't give him the information he wanted. He wanted information to show proof that Russia was colluding with Trump in order for him to win the 2016 election. But that didn't happen, so he called for a new assessment be made, and that's exactly what happened, right? That details the tools Moscow used and actions it took to influence the 2016 election. It went on to say, ODNI will lead this effort with participation from CIA, FBI, NSA, and DHS. This is how to properly use the United States of America resources by committing treason against the current sitting president. He's using all the three-letter agencies to do his dirty work. Okay, here we go. Obama officials leaked false statements to media outlets, including the Washington Post, claiming Russia has attempted through cyber means to interfere in, if not actively influence, the outcome of an election. On January 6, 2017, a new intelligence community assessment was released that directly contradicted the IC assessments that were made throughout the previous 6 months. After months of investigation into this matter, the facts reveal this new assessment was based on information that was known by those involved to be manufactured, i.e., the Steele dossier, or deemed as not credible. This was politicized intelligence that was used as the basis for countless smears seeking to delegitimize President Trump's victory. The years-long Mueller investigation, 2 congressional impeachments, high-level officials being investigated, arrested, and thrown in jail, heightened U.S.-Russia tensions, and more. Let me tell you something, man. Before we read the rest of it, I just want to say this. If you are just an average employee working for the federal government and you're being harassed, you can prove that you're being harassed by your supervisor, or you're being mistreated and you're being unfairly looked over when it comes time to get your promotions and whatnot. You can actually sue the federal government. You can sue the federal government and maintain your job, your career. Only saying that to say this. Look at all of the stuff that the government has done to President Trump. While he was the sitting president, he was an employee of the federal government who didn't even take a salary. But they put together a years-long Mueller investigation, 2 congressional impeachments, high-level officials being investigated, he being arrested and thrown in jail. They tried to arrest and throw him in jail, heightened U.S.-Russia tensions, and more. We did not care about starting beefs with Russia. We did not care if this was going to lead to a war. We did not care how this will look at all. As a matter of fact, with it all being lies, and Trump maintaining his communication with Russia, with Putin, letting them know that, man, these are all lies. What are they talking about? They then tried to use that as a show of weakness, saying, look at Trump. He's pals with Putin. He's kissing Putin's ass. He want Putin to do his bidding even more because he needed Putin to help him in the 2016 election, and now Trump remains friends with him after he'd done all this stuff. So we went out of our way to support Ukraine, give them billions of dollars. We went out of our way to create a border bill that allotted up to $56 billion for the Ukraine war so that we can go against Putin. We did all of these things to try to cover our ass. That's why it's important to get to a point in your life where you are telling the truth, because you don't have to remember all the lies you told. Shout out to Tulsi Gabbard for pulling this information and putting it in front of us so that we can actually read what happened. All right. Here we go. The issue I am raising is not a partisan issue. And this was written by Tulsi Gabbard, I believe. The issue I am raising is not a partisan issue. It is one that concerns every American. The information we are releasing today clearly shows there was a treasonous conspiracy in 2016 committed by officials at the highest level of our government. Their goal was to subvert the will of the American people and enact what was essentially a years-long coup with the objective of trying to usurp the president from fulfilling the mandate bestowed upon him by the American people. Their egregious abuse of power and blatant rejection of our Constitution threatens the very foundation and integrity of our democratic republic. No matter how powerful, every person involved in this conspiracy must be investigated and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law to ensure nothing like this ever happens again. The American people's faith and trust in our democratic republic, and therefore the future of our nation, depends on it. As such, I am providing all documents to the Department of Justice to deliver the accountability that President Trump, his family, and the American people deserve. Shout out to Tulsi frickin' Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard is the GOAT. Tulsi Gabbard is the GOAT. She's the GOAT for this. She is the GOAT for this. Holy moly. Tulsi Gabbard is the GOAT for this. Yes. Wow. Activity on and since Election Day. We assessed that foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks on election infrastructure to alter the U.S. presidential election outcome this year. We have no evidence of cyber manipulation of election infrastructure intended to alter results. The writing is on the wall. They've sent this out via email. They've posted this as official documentation. They thought that nobody would go back and do any digging. Well, Tulsi Gabbard did go back and do some digging, and now we are here. Now we are here, man. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments, bro. This is absolutely wild. Now, here's the thing. Do we believe anybody is going to be arrested? Look at all these names that were inside of the Situation Room. Look at all of this. This is crazy. And then, after the first assessment was denied, and they admitted that there was no proof of anything, nothing, they went on to call, President Barack Obama then went on to call for another assessment because the first one wasn't good enough. You guys didn't find any dirt. We need y'all to dig a little deeper. Nah, sorry, you're no longer the president. Move on out the way. And I know that January of 2017 didn't come up yet. He wasn't inaugurated officially into his first term, but he was the new sitting president. He was the president at this point. All right. This is when Obama was closing out and trying to make sure he passed on the keys to Trump, and things didn't go the way that they wanted. Bro, man, they gave Trump hell, bro. They gave Trump hell throughout this whole thing. And now they expect for you to just sit back and eat it. That's why I say to people, and this probably got me in big trouble on YouTube, but I said that Jan 6 would have never happened. And I agree. I stand by this 1000%. Jan 6 would have never happened. Would have never happened if they didn't literally steal the election in 2020. If somebody can explain to me, and I will listen, I promise you I will listen. If somebody can explain to me this one point, then I will shut the hell up. How in the heck did President Biden get 81 million votes? Keeping in mind that when Barack Obama ran for his first term, I believe he got 69 million votes. In his second term, he got 67 million votes. He never cracked the 70 million votes. How in the hell did his sidekick, who was nowhere near as popular as him, get 81 million votes? And then, hold on, that's not even the crazy part. Here's the crazy part. Biden got 81 million votes with 15 million votes appearing overnight, and his run, I mean, and his and President Trump also got like 71, 73 million votes at the same time? Where all of these votes come from? Where did all of them come from? What they're saying is, now this is what they want to sell to the people. They're saying, well, this was the time of COVID. Everyone was at home. More people voted because they didn't have to go to the voting booth. More people voted because they didn't have to. It was more convenient, so they voted. And that's why Biden got 81 million and Trump got 70. What? What? Okay, then the Easter Bunny is real. Santa Claus actually does fly to our homes every evening of Christmas and climb down our chimneys and place magical, wonderful gifts and arraignment around our homes when we're asleep. If that's the case. When we lose a tooth and we follow and we put that tooth underneath the daggone pillow, a magical fairy pops up in our home, takes the tooth, and leaves a quarter. All of that is absolutely 1000% the truth. If you want me to believe that Joe Biden got 81 million votes, please let me know in the daggone inside the chat right now, just with a thumbs up. I mean, well, give me a number that you actually think Biden got when he ran up against when he ran up against Trump. Was it 81 million votes? Was it 80 plus million? Was it 70 plus million? Was it 60? I think it was in the 60s. That's just me. Because doing the numbers, Obama got 67 million. And then he got like 69 when he won the second time, or vice versa. Maybe it was flipped. When his running, who he's running against did not even get that. But when Trump ran up against Biden, he got 70 plus million votes. Biden got 81. Come on. You mean to tell me that they expected 60 million, 47.5? Listen, in the chat is saying that he might have got 50. He might have gotten 60 million. Maybe. And I agree 1000%. And I stand by what I said. And it's it's sad that anybody had to pass away on that day. It's sad that all of that turmoil had to take place. But this is what it's like when people stand up for their rights. They went out there and they voted. They thought that their votes would be honored. Their votes were not honored. Period. And then when you put it out there that this doesn't make sense, where did all these votes come from? The machines were all messed up. People are saying that all of the votes from certain areas were not even turned in. We're seeing people do all crazy type of things, dropping boxes off, throwing them out. So many things was happening. But then, let me ask y'all this, because it was Hillary Clinton that was calling Trump an election denier. Wasn't it Hillary Clinton that was crying about losing to Trump more than anybody? I don't know if y'all remember that. So here's the thing that the Democrats do. They project. And just in case I got some Democrats or progressives inside of my chat, I want you to know where I'm coming from. I was on the side of voting blue. I was one of those 81 million people that voted for Biden because I wasn't paying attention to the election. I thought that what MSNBC was saying to me was absolutely the truth. So I never looked into it. I buried my head in the sand and I took the left's leadership. I took their guidance and I voted for the person they wanted me to vote for. So I'm guilty of that. I'm part of the problem. All right. But in 2024, I corrected that. I voted for the person that I thought was best. and I believe is best, in my opinion. But think about this right here. Just this one thing. Everything the left does is project. That's all they do is project. They call conservatives racist when we all know that the Democrats are the most racist in the entire country. In the entire country. They tried to say that Trump started the rumor about President Obama not being born here, so therefore he don't qualify to be the president. Well, that's not the case. Hillary Clinton's team was the ones that went out and found that information and put it out there. And if it was in fact the truth, then they are correct. But when Trump got a hold of that information, he repeated it on his platforms wherever he was. And then it became him that was starting that information. And they called him racist for that, for starting the birther movement. He was the one that started the birther movement. No, it was Hillary Clinton that started it. It was Trump that repeated it. All right, so hold on one second. All right, so we got something that just now came in. Captain EO. All right, so what I saw when I looked over here is Youre Cooked. All right, here we go. And feel free to answer this, someone. That would be dope. He said, "Youre cooked and so is your chat. Wake up. There's no difference between the sides. It's a uniparty. Come on, son." All right, so I believe that there's somewhat of a uniparty going on. I do. I honestly do. I believe that they agree more than they disagree. I believe that once they do all their arguments to try to bring money into whatever they want to bring money to or attention to, they go out and they party together. I believe that their children are friends. I believe they golf together. They make money together. They probably even have Diddy parties together. I don't know. So you might be right. But that does not negate the fact. And Captain EO, I don't know how long you were here in the chat, but please make sure that you look at the entire video so that you can see all of the information that was crossing the table. The uniparty thing just throws out accountability. So when somebody says that, you cannot be Switzerland in this. This is someone who does not want to take a stance. So Captain EO, here is an important moment for you to consider the fact that these names that are being mentioned and the president at the time, well, the person that was about to cross over after finishing 2 terms, he tried to start a coup on the incoming president. The writing is on the wall. I'm thinking by you posting this, you did not see the rest of the video. So go back and look, man. It will help you out. And I do realize a lot of times, guys, we like to jump into conversations and act like we know it all, or we hear somebody else having a conversation talking about a uniparty and Elon Musk is talking about a uniparty and we need to make a new party. That's when we just turn our brains off and we follow the leader. Inside of my chat, we don't have anybody like that. My chat is filled with people who are real free thinkers. My chat is filled with people who are not meat riders. My chat is filled with people who go back and do their own due diligence. They do their own research. My chat are not people who allow these idiots to read for them. They go out and read documents for themselves. My chat are not strangers to .gov or .gov websites where they go and read people's records and hold these people accountable. That's who my chat is. You are used to people who just go on social media, follow whoever's popular, and just play follow the leader and go out repeating what they say. That's not what we do. I do realize that somebody who is extremely popular like Elon Musk constantly beats the drum of uniparty. So you want to dismiss everything that we're putting out right now. That right there would do you a disservice as an American citizen. If you are an American citizen, you want to know the truth. you also understand that your tax dollars pay their salaries, so we can hold them accountable. So you ever enter a room and say, stop holding these people accountable because they're all the uniparty and nothing's going to happen, then what are we doing? What are we doing here? The only reason why I'm speaking on this is because what you're trying to do is diminish our the information that's coming across our table. You're trying to diminish the minds and the intelligence of the people who are here going over this information with a fine-tooth comb and have been waiting for justice for a long time. When you vote for somebody who you believe is the right person to do the job, you want to see them get the job, and you want to see them get the job done without being blocked at every turn. Now we are finally in a position where we voted somebody in office who is getting sugar honey iced tea done. Promises made, promises kept. And I believe that the only people that's going around right now saying uniparty, 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 don't believe anybody. Those are the people that don't want anybody to accept accountability. That's somebody that witnessed your favorite person, your favorite politician get their asses handed to them. And now you don't want to see any more bloodshed on the side that you agree with the most, that you enjoy the most. The propaganda that you buy, that you regurgitate, that you get out there and repeat, you don't want them held responsible. Unfortunately, that's not this type of party. Over here inside of this chat on LFR Family, we are holding people accountable. I told you all before that before Trump even became the president, I said, at the same level that I hold the Biden accountable, or the Biden administration accountable, I plan on holding the Trump administration accountable as well. And a lot of people didn't agree with me on that. They didn't agree. They didn't believe that I would actually do that. Well, if you go back and you look at all of the people who have been leaving my channel, they have been because I have been trying to be fair. Be fair. And this right here is being fair. Provide me with some information and I will read it. If you want to say the uniparty was there, then I want to see some conservatives in that damn room trying to drum up a situation that will show Trump as being a liar and a cheat. I want to see a uniparty situation in there. I want to see people who, like what I see right now, are people who are in charge of those agencies joining together, creating a conglomerate to take down the president that they never wanted in office, that they never thought would have a chance of winning. And that's the thing. They completely dropped the ball. I remember Hillary Clinton wasn't out there doing rallies as much as she thought she should, because she thought she had it locked. She thought she had it locked in. She thought that since she was the first lady of one of the most popular Democratic presidents that just so happened to make sweet love to one of his assistants inside of the White House, leaving all types of presidential juice on her blue dress. And then he plays the saxophone. And then he was real cool when he real smooth talking to all the Hollywood socialites. They thought that she would just walk into the presidency, breaking glass ceilings and not have to consider anything else. Not have to consider anything else. Hillary Clinton, they try to do so much to put her in position. And she just could not cross the finish line. She couldn't. They tried to force it. Bro, you're not supposed to force it. You're not supposed to force it. You're supposed to let it happen organically. All right? It's just like some good love making. You don't force it to happen. If it's not juicy enough down there, sometimes there's a lot more going on that you need to address, and not just squirting a whole bunch of lube down there and just saying, I'm going to go bang, bang, bang town for the F of it. No, there's a lot more attention that you need to pay attention to. All right? We saw that even when Hillary Clinton was going after Barack Obama, and who was in Senator McCain was there, and he was like, wait a minute. I'm going to take up for Barack. I think he's a good guy, blah, 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 blah. Well, something that we don't realize is that, and people wonder, where did Barack Obama come from? How come nobody wants to call him Barry Soetoro? How come nobody want to consider his origins? How come nobody want to consider any of those things? The fact that he had ties with the Bushes at an extremely young age. How come nobody want to consider any of those things? I believe that President Barack Obama was just following the play of people that control him, of financiers that control him, of the real deep state that made up their minds that we cannot control Trump the way we can control somebody who we had our eyes on and we've been investing in ever since they were 16, 17 years old. We are ready to get a return on our investment. Hillary Clinton was in the go along to get along gang for a really long time, even before she met and married Bill Clinton. We already know that. Go back and look at it. Go back and get that information. It's out there. So please do not step in here and tell me that we are a bunch of mindless individuals in this chat. You picked the wrong chat to do that in. These people know what they're talking about, and so do I. And shout out to Tulsi Gabbard for giving us the real. She came through with some receipts. This right here will lead to something. I believe that this will lead to some arrests, in my opinion. In my opinion. Yeah. 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 It's just a lot to consider in this. Yeah, it's just a lot to consider. It's a lot to consider. And I believe that this whole uniparty thing is the whole reason why they didn't like Trump in the first place. The uniparty that Elon Musk is speaking of is the swamp. Y'all remember the swamp? You guys remember the swamp? And what did Trump say about the swamp? He said that he came in to drain the swamp. People who had long-standing careers in the United States government, who thought that they was hot shit, who thought that they were always going to keep their jobs no matter what they did. They felt like that they were protected. Trump came in the door and started firing them right away. You're fired. I don't want you. You're fired. I'm going to replace you. You're fired. I'm going to replace you too. I'm going to replace you as well. I don't need any loyalists. What I need is people that's ready to turn this thing around. Who's ready to turn this ship around? But the way that they painted it, the way that they tried to paint it, the left, they tried to paint it as if he was only hiring loyalists. When in fact, he was trying to get rid of loyalists that were inside of the federal government. And he still is. Shout out to Tons of Fun Carving. Thank you so much. Preach Van the Man. I appreciate you, brother or sister. Wheezy's back. She said we can call out. We can call out our own and hold them accountable. Dems sure as hell never do that. And she's absolutely correct. She's absolutely correct. 1000%. All right. So this was our report on this whole bad boy. We read all the information. Y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know about this in the comments. Also, guys, if you have not had a chance to reach out to me about content creation, make sure you do. Even if you have any questions, all right? Because some of you guys don't want to just jump into a course and start learning how to create. You might feel like you don't have anything to offer. Let me tell you something. Tell your story before somebody else does. That's the least I want you to do. I want you to tell your story based off of what you remember. And if you don't remember much, then ask your children to tell the story. Ask your spouse, ask your siblings to tell the story, or just call them and talk to them and you tell the story. At the end of the day, I believe your story needs to be told. Think about how much of your life is documented at this point. All of your memories are in here. All of your experiences are in here and in your heart, and that's it. The only people that can bear witness are the people that were there. Tell your story. That's it. If you can use these social media platforms for anything, and you don't want to use it to make up little silly dances or follow any dumb trends. You don't want to use it to make any money. You don't want to use it as use it to tell your story. How about that? Just tell your story. I promise you it's worth it. Because if you were to go onto Netflix, Paramount, Hulu, what you call it, Apple, HBO Max, Stars, I bet that if your story was produced, directed, has some beautiful actors and actresses in it, that it would do way better than a lot of the programming that they already have up there. We sat down and we watched mindless TV and TV series and whatnot. That's nowhere near exciting as our lives, as the things that we've gone through. You got war heroes in your family. You got knucklehead family members that have been in and out of jail or on drugs and off of drugs, and just some of the wildest characters in the world with some of the greatest memories that you can remember ever. Like, tell your story. Tell your story. But if you want to do this content creation thing and you want it to actually like make you money someday, you want it to grow into a career, then I want you to get my course. It's in the very first link in the descriptions. Grab that bad boy. Thank me later, because this coaching group and everything that we're building is actually better than I thought it would be. And it's not because of the information that I'm sharing. It's because of the people that's joining. It's because of their own drive, their own desire, their ability to be able to follow whatever it is that I'm telling them and do great things, and then help other people do great things as well. And I love to see it. When you see someone's growth, doing something that they never thought that they would ever do, it brings joy to your heart. All right? Especially when they start to make real good money and they turn their lives around for the better. That's when it really gets better. That's when you really start smiling. All right? So I want y'all to do that, man. I want y'all to reach out to me with the word coach, even if you got any questions. If you got any questions about VIP, hit me up with VIP over email, and we can get on the phone, or we can get on StreamYard one-on-one, and you can ask any questions that you may have, and I can tell you all about our white glove service. All right? White glove services is simply you sitting in front of the camera, and I control all of your videos from my end of StreamYard, and I make sure that I produce it for you. And our editors, they do all the editing for you, the thumbnails. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet, right? It's like a video pedicure. You know what I mean? Content creation, pedicure, and manicure. You know what I mean? It's dope. All right. So enough of that. Thank you guys so much for participating. Michelle, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Also, all of my greens. Shout out to my greens. Those are all the people who have joined my membership on YouTube. If you want to join our membership, we're still coming up with great ideas, but please join. That would be dope. I would love to have you. For everybody who has purchased a coffee for me, thank you so much. Somebody just now became a member of the Patreon for like a year. Thank you so much. Like, people are really showing support, and I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. I don't know if the Lord is whispering in your ear, telling you that I'm somebody that needs to be in your journey or needs to be in your story at some point. At any rate, I appreciate you making the decision to rock with me, and I thank you tremendously. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. Okay, all of my blues, all my greens, y'all have an amazing day. Everybody who participated in the chat, thank you so much. Y'all continue to have an amazing weekend. And everybody who submitted a super chat and reached out to me with the word coach, y'all are dope. Y'all are dope. All right, I'll see y'all in the next one. Y'all take it easy.
We have been helping people grow online. It has been absolutely amazing. We have helped many content creators get from zero to monetization in under 30
days. We even have a couple of these superstars who did it in 1 or 2 weeks. If you want to learn how to do YouTube, I don't care your age, I don't care what skills or talents you have. Trust me, I can help you do it effortlessly. Just reach out to me with the word coach and we can get it done. One more thing. We have a YouTube course that I just now created. I'm extremely proud of, and a lot of people are getting so much from. Purchase that course and work with us. You can join our private Facebook group and our daily group calls, which is 3 to 5 days per week, and you can learn so much more than you've ever learned before. I can't wait to hear from you. Love you. Peace.